guys, it's Jody. Today's video, we are doing a piece that I originally did for the hurricane the relief collaboration that we did a couple months back. I have to admit, when I was asked to do it, I was pretty nervous to paint again on camera. I hadn't done it in such a long time. So I did 3. And then I picked the best one, the best piece to auction off. But I still have these other 2 videos and these other 2 pieces, and I'm like, let's show them. They're actually really pretty cool. So that's what today's video is. And I also, fair warning, I do go into a lot of detail at the beginning since I didn't have so much time with the actual hurricane relief video. There was a time limit, so I couldn't go through my colors, my pouring medium, and all that kind of stuff. And I like to share, so I think I overshared a little bit in this one. But at any rate, what you're going to see next is I am kind of going through all the colors, but more in detail and explaining the pouring medium that I'm using now. I'm kind of experimenting a little bit. So if you're really just want to get to the painting, I would just kind of fast forward through the video because I am talking a lot. I had a lot to say. So with that, let's go get started with the colors that we used and are using in today's piece, and then we'll go and get started painting. So, all right, we're going to go over all the colors a little bit more in depth like I normally do. I didn't have time in my last video for the hurricane relief efforts. I was on a time crunch, but I like to share. And also another thing I wanted to say, I've kind of been playing around with different pouring mediums. I know for the longest time I've used the Valspar Varathane, but I've taken out the Varathane, the varnish part. I wanted to see what it would do. I've always been posed that question, and I always liked the varnish in there, but then I thought, what? Let's find out what happens. So I've been playing around with it. I don't really have a recipe right now to share, but I will tell you what I'm using. And if you want to, venture off and give it a go yourself, I will also put what I'm using down below in the description box, as always. But the first color again is the Aspen, this little piggy, this guy here. And this one I mixed up. I'm also using GAC 800. So I used this to actually disperse, and it worked out pretty well. It does, it almost looks a little bit faded, but it dries true to color. And so I'm really not worried about this little overcast that it looks like it has, but this is the consistency. So I dispersed it with the GAC, and then I added, I'm trying out the Bear Dynasty. This is very similar to the Dutch Boy that I've used. If you're been around on my channel for a long time, I've used Dutch Boy as one of my mediums, and I love this. But it's only available in the Midwest at Menards, whereas this is available at Home Depot nationwide. So, but I've been giving this a go just to see how I like it, and it's very similar to the Dutch Boy. I may go back and forth between the 2, but I added a little bit of that bear in here just to thicken it. Did I use? No, I didn't use any Valspar. It was just the Dynasty. That's what I used for that one. This is going to be a long-winded explanation, but it's been a while, so. And then the next color is the Josonia Black Umber. And this is thicker. It's been sitting around for a little bit, so it did thicken up. And what I usually do, if it's thicker, I don't mind them being slightly, let me say that again. I don't mind that if there's a slight variance in the consistencies with my paints. I know you want them as close as possible, but I break the rules sometimes. But I usually thin with the GAC 800 if it's a bit too thick for my liking. But this is the consistency of that. And this one I started out with the Valspar. I don't think I put the Dynasty in here. I just threw some Valspar in there and then just a little blob of the Black Umber. Next one is the Benevolence. I still don't have a tin yet of it, but you can see kind of what the powder looks like. This so reminds me of when it's mixed up with the mediums I'm using here. I again dispersed it with the GAC 800, and I think I used just the Dynasty with it. So it's going to give it a little, I think the GAC at first gives it an overcast too. It's kind of thickened up a little bit, but that's the consistency there. Actually, I wanted to compare, just see. Yeah, see, this is the PBO Blue Black that I love, and then this is the Benevolent. This is how it mixes for me, but you can kind of see it dried on that lid a little bit more. And depending on what you mix it in, it may be more true to color, but it does dry true to color. That's the most important part to me. I'm not so concerned with how it looks mixed up as I am how it dries. If it dries faded as well, then, you know, I will try something else. And that's only with it, and you're only going to find that out by playing around with it. So my next color is the Liquitex Basics Light Blue Permanent. And this one is a little bit thicker because it's a tube paint as well. That's also going to, if you're in a cooler environment and you use heavy body paints, you might have to thin it down a bit more, but that's the consistency of that. And this one I think I just mixed with the Valspar as well, and then added a little bit of the GAC. Here, let me show you the Valspar. I do have pictures at the end of this video, but this is the Valspar that I've always used. I'm not using the varnish at this time, and I'm having really good results with it. I like it so far. And I kind of want to try my Dutch boy without it as well. So some fun experiments that I may. Anyway, okay, now in the last color here is the Boom Gel Stain in the Pearlescent Teal. And now this bottle didn't have like a tip at it, so I just put some in this bottle, and it's not mixed with anything. It's straight from this bottle, but I put some out in here just so you can kind of get an idea of the consistency. It is thicker. It's probably about as thick. I mean, it's, yeah, it's thicker. It's thicker than these paints, but I'm okay with it. All right, those are all the paints. Now let me go through the cell activators. All right, my first one is, this is my black cell activator. If you can see the consistency there. This is Amsterdam Oxide Black mixed with Australian Floetrol, about 3-to-1, 3 parts Floetrol, 1 part paint. Here's the Amsterdam Oxide Black. And then my gold are the 2 golds that I like to put together. This is the Atelier Interactive Pale Gold, and then the PBO Studio Acrylics Iridescent Precious Gold. I like to mix those together. And this is the consistency. This is with Australian Floetrol. I mix about half and half with the paints. The 1 part paint and about 3 parts of the Floetrol. The parts with the Floetrol, before I go on to the next one, I've used 4-to-1 ratio, 3-to-1, 2-to-1, 1-to-1, and it's just going to make thicker. You know, it's going to take more time for your cells to develop. If you're newer to this, I would go 4-to-1, 3-to-1, just because it'll be easier to work with and your cells are going to pop up because it's going to be thinner. Having said that, it's okay to experiment with the ratio of the cell activator, but you know, I know everybody likes to have a guide. All right, and my last one is Amsterdam Titanium White. And here's the consistency of that. And again, this is Australian Floetrol, about 3-to-1, 3 parts Australian Floetrol, 1 part paint. And my pillow finally. This here I have is my PPG Multi Pro. I go between the PPG Multi Pro and the Glidden Premium in satin, only because of the thickness of the paint here in my studio. It's cooler in the winter, it's hot in the summer. So right now it's still warmer in here, so I can get away with using the PPG, but when it starts getting cooler, this becomes too thick for me. I have to move over to the Glidden. And then in the summer, when it's too hot, I have to move back over here because this is thicker for me. It may be different for you, but that's just what works for me. But today we're using the PPG Multi Pro. And I get asked a lot if I add anything to this. I do not. Any of my pillows, I just use straight from the can. Just for reference, here's the PPG Multi Pro. I do add pictures of everything at the end of the video, so in case you miss it and you don't want to pause it, you can get it at the end of the video as well. have to say, I had a lot of fun creating this piece. I haven't done a floating bloom in a long time, and it was nice to do one again. I didn't do a whole heck of a lot of talking in this video. I think this was the first video that I had filmed when I was asked to do that collaboration. I did, you know, 3 in a row, 1 a day, just to get my feet wet again. And this was the first one, and I have no words for it because I love it. I really hope you enjoyed it. I just wanted to come back on here and thank you so much for being here, and I will see you at the next video.